So just a short background on Strat7. We are a marketing customer analytics consultancy working with clients, helping bring together their data, insight, and marketing and customer engagement strategy. We launched a company 2 years ago, so we've actually been in sort of pandemic environment longer than we haven't, which has been an interesting time for us to start a new company. But 2 years on, we're close to 200 people, about 20 million in revenue. We're working with some of the biggest brands in the world, from the likes of HSBC, IKEA, Facebook, Google, etc. We launched the company because we saw a massive continued acceleration in the change and disruption that technology is bringing, and customers holding more and more power than ever before. Customers having greater expectations, greater empowerment, greater choice, greater influence, and now greater social awareness as well. And that disruption is not defined or one particular industry. It's across the whole, all the different industries, whether it's travel, technology, entertainment. And interestingly, there was a quote from the chief exec of Microsoft in April of 2020, so right at the beginning of the pandemic, and saying that in the last 2 months, there's been greater change than in the last 20 years. And it'll be interesting to see how much that has continued to accelerate over the last 12 months. So we are helping clients getting much closer to their customers, whether that's through their innovation plans on new products, new services, understanding customers' changing needs, and that's been especially demanded from us over the last 12 months. What are the changing customer needs during this pandemic and then going forward? And also how you're attracting and retaining more profitable customers and the customer life cycle of future consumers or future customers as well as the existing customers. This week, interestingly, there's been the MRS, the Market Research Society, have held their annual conference. It's been a 3-day conference, and their conference title was all around transformation to recovery. And we talked to, we were a sponsor and speaker at that conference that's finishing today, and we talked about 2 areas of the accelerated change that's happening, as I've just talked about, but also one of the economists from, I think, from the Bank of England has come up recently with £100 billion worth of savings caused by the pandemic. So they're calling it the accidental saver. And a lot of brands that we're working with are figuring out how they can get their fair share, if not increased share, of that £100 billion of savings. So talking to clients of how they're fast tracking their customer centricity, how they're using their data and technology platforms, and how they're innovating faster to take advantage of that. So how you get closer to your customers through online communities, how you're really looking for those grains of intelligence from the data, the first-party data that customers are collecting on their customers, and also around sort of the markets, the trends, the cultural trends that are happening. So again, working with a lot of big brands on what's the future of whether it's non-alcoholic beer, whether it's of travel, whether it's working from home, and how brands are going to relate and adjust their customer-centric plans to that. And another important area is around segmentation, segmenting the market, seeing what the opportunities are, and applying that segmentation to big, large databases. So it's a real mix of different ways of how you're helping clients collect more data, enrich it, how you're using technology, whether it's AI, machine learning, or NLP, to really understand and analyze that data. But most importantly, it really is about how you're turning that insight into actionable strategy. So that's just a brief overview of Strat7. As I said, working with some of the biggest brands in the world, from Sydney to London to New York. So it's slightly different from the audit world. I also sit on a public company called S3, which is around recruitment, over $1 billion in revenue. And yesterday just had my audit committee. So it's interesting to see the sort of changing demands from auditors and from boards and non-exec directors in that space as well.